Hey guys, welcome to the Feelfree Fishing Team, the fishing team podcast from the best team in the nation, Feelfree US. Hey, I'm John Rapp and I'm the host of the program, and just wanted to reach out to everybody and say hello. Welcome to October. I'm only here for the booze. Anyway, I got a great group of guys hanging out right over here, and we're going to bring them on in a minute, but I just wanted to reach out and give you some information that I got from our marketing director, Roland Jimenez, and he would be here, so keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's got a little thing going on with the family he's trying to take care of, so he couldn't be here tonight to give you guys some insight on what he's got planned for 2023. So he gave me a little snippet to let you all know that if you're out there, that if you have a C string, a Three Waters, or a Johnny boat, that you may want to stay in touch with him, that we're going to be breaking up the Feelfree fishing team as a whole and creating small entities within those groups. So the Three Waters will have their own fishing team, Johnny will have their own fishing team, Seastream, and of course us guys from Feelfree will still maintain our status here once we do our 2023 applications. So I don't know what he's got in store, but that's something that he mentioned, and I'm sure we'll get more details coming out from him when he has time. Anyway, I got a great group of team members here in the background. I'm gonna go ahead and slide over and bring up these guys. And but while I'm at it, while I'm thinking of it, up top left it says like, share, follow. Let us know you're on. Hit that like button, share button, and I'll try to keep track with you and recognize you when you're there. And if you have any questions for our fishing team members, please send them a message. I'm sure they can. They would love to hear from you and give you any insight or knowledge they have. So let me find my right thing here, and we'll bring them up. All right. So, guys, introduce yourself. Top left is me, John Rapp, and go from there. Top in the middle, Jason. Introduce yourself to him for him, please.
I'm Jason. No, hey, my name is Jason West. I'm with the. I couldn't help it. I had to do it. Yeah, no, sorry. I got some bad humor over here. But yeah, my name is Jason West. I'm with the Feelfree Fishing Team. I've been with you guys for about 2.5, 3 years now. About 6 months before the pandemic started, so it's been a fun journey though. Great meeting everybody and talking to everybody.
Outstanding. So. To the right, we have Kyle.
Hey everybody, I'm Kyle Matlock, California native. I've been with the Feelfree Fishing Team since 2017, so almost 6 years.
Yeah, baby. And then another old timer, bottom left. Yeah, that's you, Ugly Cody.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Boogie Bowers. I've been with the Feelfree Fishing Team for probably going on 7 years now.
Yeah.
Multi-state angler, Virginia, PA, Maryland, and a little bit of West Virginia.
Yeah. And my boy on the bottom, a local that I'm well aware of. He uglier than you, Cody. Jerry? Oh, look at him. He got so offended he left. Hey, there he is. He's back.
My wife's trying to call, and I keep hitting the delete button on it to keep her man.
That's gonna go well. That's gonna go real well.
Ooh.
You might get it because she won't know I'm on here when she comes in. My name's Jerry Spradling. I'm from New Haven, West Virginia. I've been with Feelfree for a good while. I just can't remember how many years, but it's the best affiliated bunch that I've ever been, that you could ever want to be with. I mean, these guys are awesome. They take care of us, and I fish all over. Sick of fishing. I'm going. So,
Amen, brother. So glad you guys were able to jump on tonight. A lot of hot topics that we can talk about, especially with the. I think Kyle and Jason have prior to us kicking the show off live have really sparked everybody's interest and conversation with some of the topics that have happened with the big cheating scandal that occurred up in Lake Erie. So Kyle, I'll let you run with that. First of all, what your thoughts are on it, and then Jason, you can follow up with it, and Cody, everybody jump in. But I'm gonna let Kyle run with this because he has some good insight, and he's also Kyle. I'm gonna spill the beans. He's wrote a blog on some stuff that's about to be released with that, with his thoughts on that. So run with it, Big Daddy.
Yeah. So I've been a tournament angler for a lot of years. I started bass fishing in 2016 and immediately jumped right into it. And a lot of people, are seeing this for the very first time. It's made national headlines. So a lot of people are already looking at it that aren't real familiar with, angling in general, and they're saying, well, how does this happen? But I'll tell you right now, I've seen some stuff. I've seen, guys transporting fish from one body of water to another one. I've seen fish spitting up weights at the weigh-in table. We've had how many different counts of it with kayak fishing with guys cutting tails and stuff,
cutting boards, yeah.
Cutting boards, cutting tails, or turning in dead fish or submitting the same fish. Like, it's something that's going to happen. And sadly, I don't think there's any way to get away from it. But like kind of Jason and I were talking and stuff. I think that, moving for all these companies that run the actual like live weigh-in structures, I think that really the only way to get away from it would be to move to a catch, photo, release and have judges like we do in the kayak stuff. We don't see that stuff nearly as often in the kayak community as they do in the big boat tournaments and stuff like that. I don't know if it's payout structures, but KBF Nationals, they pay out close to $500,000 a year total prize money. That's huge, but for some reason it's more prevalent in the boating community, and the only way I think to get away from it would be to move to catch, photo, release, and that's going to make a lot of people really upset. But
I see what you're saying there. Yeah. Hey guys, just for you guys tuning in, the very pretty face that's on the bottom right with the two ugly guys on to the left of him, that is our boy Mike McKinstry from the Basquatch Hunter. Been on the team for many years. Mike, just to fill you in on what you missed, the topic that we're hitting on here will be the Lake Erie scandal, and Jason and Kyle have some really good insight and thoughts on some of the stuff. And Kyle, I want to touch on that, and then you guys jump in. Were they?
What happened on Lake Erie? Did something happen with walleye tournaments?
Yeah, walleye too. Yeah, I will say, man, but I thought maybe you've been behind the camera for the last 2 days and hadn't been able to catch up with what's going on. But,
trust me, I've gotten that video sent to me by like 700 people in the last 2 days. My dad called me yesterday. Hey, it's on Fox News. Did you hear about this guy cheating? I'm like, yeah, Dad, I heard about it.
Yeah. Well, hey, one of the things, Kyle, that they could do that we talked about is that they could move where they catch and keep fish. And Mike, you get Cody, if y'all correct us if we're wrong. The walleye guys, they keep dead fish because they take the fish home after the tournament. They're allowed to keep dead fish and weigh dead fish. So maybe they go to the MFL style if they're going to keep bringing fish to a weigh-in, and they weigh them in on the boat and then maybe release them so there's no opportunity to re-weigh the same fish, add weights to a fish or anything like that. Jason?
So, well, there's two things here, right? With walleyes particularly, if big boats, if they're in there, those boats have every anonymity there is possible. The reason why CPR exists within kayak fishing is because we don't have live wells. All those big boats do. There's no reason that I can see anyway. I don't know. I'm not a walleye fisherman. I don't see why they can't just throw them in the live well and keep them alive for weigh-in. I could be wrong. They might do that. But If what you're saying is true and they're bringing them in dead, it makes no sense to me why they would do that. That being said, there's still ways to cheat. I mean, I've heard of people. I was just reading an article a little while ago where some people were sticking ice down fish's throats.
Yeah.
So it's still going to give a couple ounces.
Right.
That being said, I mean, a little bit of my background. I started kayak fishing like competitively, I think in 2010, before hog troughs were really even around. So when we were, I think it was the first kayak tournament in Georgia. We had it at Lake Ackworth, and we didn't have measuring boards, so it was CPR. This is before smartphones were even starting around. So we had disposable cameras, and you had to turn in your camera chip at the end of the SD card.
Right.
And you're measuring on Home Depot yardsticks was what we were putting the fish on. So you want to talk about like quarter inches? We didn't have that. We were like, oh, the lip looks like it's touching the beginning. It's open. It's not. Whatever. But my point being is that even back then we had people cheating in those tournaments. So I don't think it's even necessarily a money thing. I mean, I'm sure that's part of it. But when you got people cheating in tournaments for a $50 pot buyout, it's going to exist forever, and people are always going to find ways. I know I sound a little pessimistic here, but it's always been kind of a bitter spot with me because I fished with some of the people who've been in these, I don't want to name names, but they've been in these local headlines and been busted by big tournaments and been blacklisted basically. And to me, from personally knowing that I've lost money to those people and the way that they conduct themselves, because it's usually camaraderie in those tournaments when you meet up. Everyone's happy to see each other.
Especially with what we do. Now these walleye guys, apparently there was big money in this tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, So, Jerry, what are your thoughts?
I was as dumbfounded as they come. I mean, you watch that video and the guy starts screaming, "We've got weights, we've got weights." I mean, and then the inside of the crowd, the guys are lucky they got out of there without an ass whooping, to put it bluntly. I mean, got guys paying big entry fees for tournaments like that, and then a guy standing there with his hands on his hips watching him pull weights out of fish that he just turned in.
And not only was it weights, but they even inserted slabs of fish, fillets.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what that was about unless it was just added weight or whatever.
I heard there was a pair of pliers too.
Oh my!
Yeah, I heard that too.
But it's not good. I wish. I mean, these big boat tournaments like the MLF and all your Bass series, they could get judges to do that MLF style fishing. I mean, you got your weekend warrior guys like us that go and fish these kayak tournaments that would basically do it for free. Get on a boat with a pro, go watch them fish, and keep track of their fish for them. That would totally eliminate all of that. The scales are the same, all that stuff. But there's got to be something they could do to stop it.
I agree.
Well, so there. Can I interject? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
So there was a bass boat tournament I did in Tennessee, like, I don't know, 9 years ago. And they actually did a really cool format that I've never seen done since then. Maybe it does happen. I've been out of the bass boat world for 7 years now, but they used to have a thing where I forget what they call the guy. He was like a referee kind of thing. He would go around to each boat and have everyone pull their bass out, check weights, and then note them, and then you could release them if you wanted to, or you could keep them for the end, whatever you wanted to do. But once they were noted, then you could go on and then keep on going. And that was really cool because I always thought about, because like back then I had like a 1992 bass boat, like it was just old, it was beat up. All these guys had like, brand new Rangers and Skeeters and like awesome boats. So my live well system wasn't nearly as good as theirs were. So I liked that idea because it kept my bass alive because my live wells weren't as good as it recirculating as the other ones were. But it was also cool, like now looking back at it, about the honesty factor of it. And I don't see why that's not a thing when there's officials on boats all the time. I don't know why there isn't a, multiple, in a tournament that big was a $100,000 prize in that walleye event. In a tournament worth $100,000, why isn't there at least a couple safety boats going around checking people's weights and going, here, check your weights in, your fish is dead. It's just going to gain more weight from soaking in water while it dies, while it's dead. So, like, why not go around and get an accurate measurement of everyone's weights and then move on? That way if it fluctuates from the time they caught it to the time at the end, all of a sudden there's a weird red flag. Like, I feel like that should be the same thing with kayak, where you can go out through the day and check measurements and go, cool, you're good, and go on. That way you don't have to worry about uploading them or saving them. I've always liked that format. I don't know why nobody does it.
My
That's-
big
go ahead.
MLM, Matt, is that, I mean, you're not hauling fish. All these bass tournaments are in the spring, and you know they're hauling bedding fish, 30, 40 mile beds
Yeah.
and turn.
Right.
I had a airboat captain in Kissimmee, Florida this past year. He's like, are you guys having a tournament on this lake? I said, yeah. He said, you wouldn't believe the dead fish that come up around these docks after the big tournaments down here in the summer, in the heat of the summer, or, you know, the spring when they're spawning and stuff down there. He said, it's unreal. So, I mean, that does away with that part. And that's conserving the fish population, in my opinion. But like I said, I don't think you would have any trouble at all finding somebody to ride in a boat with these guys to do that.
I think the main thing is people that are that dishonest are always going to find a way to cheat, no matter what tactic you implement or, you know, the safety measures you put in place. I do think that if you're allowed to keep dead fish, I think if you go to weigh in and you have dead fish, those fish should automatically be cut open, no matter what, because at that point, if you're planning on keeping them, or if they're dead, period, what's it going to hurt to cut those fish open?
That's a good point. That's a real good point.
All dead fish should be inspected. But like Jason was saying, when I started back then, we were still turning in our SD cards for cameras and still had people cheat. So I think no matter what kind of measure you put in, at some point somebody's going to find a way to try to circumnavigate the rules. And I mean, I've even seen people suggest, you know, when you bring your fish to weigh in, you know, scanning the fit, like the sides of the bags with metal detectors.
Oh, yeah.
To look.
And I would do that. I mean, my law enforcement kicked in, and I'm thinking, you know, all you have to do is take a little wand and scan the fish. Anything that goes off, you say, well, we got to check that fish because there's metal in it. And granted,
Yeah.
you know, there could be a sinker, there could be a hooks, stuff like that could set it off because they're designed. I use one every day at work, and they're designed to find that little thing. For us, it's a handcuff key, you know, trying to sneak a handcuff key in or something. But hey,
And I think with new detectors now, like you can adjust the sensitivity on them and stuff like
can.
that.
yeah,
So, you know, I feel like that would be just an easy, inexpensive way to implement just another safety measure. And it's sad that it has to happen, but when you have that kind of money on the line and guys, you know, making their living by their earnings, it's something that's going to have to be done.
I think I read somewhere, guys, that these same two guys had failed a polygraph for a previous win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they've been disqualified before. So
yeah.
I mean,
Hey, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, let's bring up the topic that was brought up before we started about the legislation. I think that Jason was talking about that might be popping up in the near future.
Oh yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Kyle. Okay, so
Yes, Kyle.
let's take a quick break, and then Kyle, you can talk about that and get us all started on that conversation. All right, guys. Hey, I'm John Rapp with the Feelfree Fishing Team podcast. Got one heck of a great group of anglers here in the background. There's 5 of us here, 6 of us including me. And if you were with us the first 20 minutes, you heard us talk about the controversy up at Lake Erie with the walleye fishermen. So I'm going to bring the group back in. I'm going to introduce Kyle to you, and we're going to talk about a little about the same subject, but in a different light. There's some stuff that we all might be wanting to watch on.
So, I don't know if it's true. It's one of the things that's circulating around, the socials. But like, I got it right here, and I'm gonna read it directly. What the rumor is that might be happening. So it says, due to the Ohio walleye tourney cheaters, litigation is being drawn to ban non-authorized logos on fishing jerseys. Meaning, if you win a tournament with a logo not authorized, the owner of that branding can now potentially sue you for your purse winnings. Is what this says. Now, I don't know if it's true. I don't want to spread, untrue stuff if it isn't. But I mean, I could potentially see something like that definitely happening. I mean, How many people, know guys that run, the boat, the jerseys with the boat logos on them, and they're most likely not sponsored by that boat company or by that lure company or something like that. Like, it could potentially have like some really big impacts in, just tournament in general.
Well, it's like let's broaden that aspect, guys. Let's go into this conversation here. That legislation talks about if you have something on your jersey, but guys also wrap their boats. You could have something on your boat or your jersey or on the back of your truck that you use as something that you love to use, something that you use, you own, but and you're trying to rep them. Okay, so if you rep them and you win, they can come after your winnings. But if you rep them also and you embarrass them, just like these fellas did in Erie, there's going to be recourse there. Mike?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting topic too, because I've heard of this before popping up, because if you think about it, so the logo in question is Ranger Boats, for people who aren't aware of it. So they had Ranger Boats on their jersey, and they're not actually sponsored by Ranger Boats, but they have a Ranger boat. So the weird gray area that's always been in this world, from my marketing background and from my sports background too, the Ranger logo is on their boat already because it's a Ranger boat. So having the name displayed isn't the problem. It's displaying a sponsorship or affiliation is the problem that brands are having. Because if you get a sticker in the mail with a Berkeley bait and you put it on your truck, that doesn't necessarily mean you're representing them or showing representation. But if you go out and buy a jersey and put it on your jersey, now you're showing representation as if you are affiliated. And as a lot of companies have had issues with this in the past, with what's the gray area of saying, hey, you're a fan of our stuff and you can use it, and also we don't want to be affiliated with everybody, kind of thing too. So every brand that has like my Bass Watch name is trademarked. Like, I have my logo trademarked. I have everything's protected. But I've had somebody get a tattoo of my logo and I can't stop them. I've had a lot of people print my logo on their shirts and I can't stop them. But I could send a cease and desist or send something if they embarrass me or slander me or defame me in any way. So I think what's going to happen with this is they're trying to make a legal version of like a representation law kind of thing.
It's the footwork. They're laying the footwork, the groundwork, so if something down the road happens, they have a legal basis to go by.
Yeah, but it's more of a representation issue. It's more of the appearance of being represented by this company or affiliated with the company. So I know a specific brand, like one of the brands that I work with, had this problem before where they didn't give stickers out anymore because they had a problem with people putting them everywhere. Then everyone assumed that person was affiliated, and then it reflects bad. And it was such a big scale that it became an issue. But there's no law against misrepresenting a company like that unless you can prove slander or defamation or problems in the marketplace. Or there's a lot of weird loopholes. So I think what they're trying to do is put, like you said, a foundation down where they say now there's something in writing saying that it's almost like impersonating a police officer. If you impersonate a representative of us, if you impersonate or represent yourself as an affiliate, but you're really not, and then if you're doing great, they're probably not going to care.
Yeah,
but if you do something
but yeah, if it hurts the brand, then so Cody.
To me, I don't know. It's like Mike was saying, it's a real gray area because, I feel like if you do great, it's doing nothing but helping the company and promoting that company. If you're a consistent top 5 finisher, across the board, and that brand's getting a lot of exposure and stuff like that, of course the company's going to be like, hey, and then again, it's you do that, you make up one bad thing, and then the company comes at you. So it's like, I feel like with that legislation, it's giving companies now the power to have their cake and eat it too, essentially.
There's truth to that.
We like what you're doing, but the minute you do something we don't like, now we're going to come after you now. So I don't know. To me, it can kind of go either way.
It's something that all of us, as being pro staff with Feelfree, have to monitor and watch, because we definitely don't want to hurt our own brand either. Jason?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was gonna say too. Is if you're gonna talk about it, you kind of need to be about it. Like if these people that aren't sponsored want to put sponsors on things, like for me, and I didn't read all the fine print, when I was signing on with Feelfree or when I renew or whatever. But I'm assuming in that contract, just like everything else that I've signed in the past with all my other previous sponsors, there's a code of ethics there that I have to abide by. And if I don't abide by those code of ethics, then I'm held responsible by that company. So if you're going to take these names and stick them on your jerseys without that company's permission, you better abide by those code of ethics, or at least be ethical. Otherwise, then it gives them the repercussion to do that. But, I think a lot of these people just adding stuff to their jerseys without knowing or having those ethics, it speaks a lot to them.
Bro, that's spot on. That's spot on.
One more thing. I know for a lot of people, that's how they earn sponsorships too.
Right.
You go out and you consistently produce, and if you're using a Lose Reel, and you start promoting Lose Reels and stuff like that, Lose Reels may reach out to you and be like, hey, we love what you're doing. Would you like to be a brand ambassador? So at some point, people are repping companies and promoting companies without even being on their payroll or being on their team, but they want to be on their team, and that's how you get noticed at the same time.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Jerry?
I'm of the opinion that if, like this brand, Feelfree, I mean, if they're good enough to represent you, keep your nose clean. I mean, don't do anything to drag their name through the dirt, or, I mean, it's just common sense in my opinion.
Agreed. Follow up, Kyle.
I mean, yeah, like what Jerry said and like what everybody else has said, if you're going to talk about it, be about it. And like Jerry said, if you're going to do something like that, you have to keep your nose clean. I mean, I've been with Feelfree for, like I said, almost going on 7 years, and I don't want to do anything that'll jeopardize, losing this family that we, that I have with everybody here. I think that a lot of people just kind of lose touch with that a little bit because they get kind of in their head,
People want to be famous. They love attention. And sometimes they get it, whether they're looking for it the right way or not, And these
They sure did.
What was that, Jerry?
These two up at Erie sure did.
Yeah, that's the truth. So, hey guys, if you want to become part of this family, like I mentioned to you earlier, our marketing director, Roland Jimenez, will be putting out information for the 2023 fishing teams. And he sent me a text message earlier that he could not be on the show tonight. But again, we have more than one platform. All of us here, and Mikey especially, promote the heck out of the platforms. Mike's been using the C streams. He's been giving away C streams to Three Waters. So my point is, if you want to be a part of one of these teams, watch and send a message to Roland with your fishing resume, with the boat you use, because there's, in the near future for 2023, there are going to be some mini teams being developed, and we would love to have you, because although you may be on a different platform than we are, we're all one group, and we'll all be communicating together right here on this platform here, this podcast.
I was hoping to be able to do a reveal tonight, but it's not going to be here till tomorrow.
Well, you got your
My
Your new
Dorado.
Dorado coming in?
Yeah, it'll be here tomorrow.
Man, that's awesome.
Dallas, mine's not even on its way yet.
I am
Jerry,
so jealous, guys.
Well, I can understand why Jerry's excited because his is coming to replace one of his older boats that he's had issues with. So
Yep.
anyway, hey guys, we've been on the show here for 32 minutes. We can start wrapping it up. Final thoughts. What are we looking forward to for 2023? Go ahead, Jason.
2023. I mentioned this before in a previous podcast with you, but I think this year's been kind of more of a rebuilding year. Kind of been dealing with some health problems and stuff like that. I had a kidney stone like 2 months ago. I don't know how that even happened. Yeah, it was horrible. So I've basically just been kind of gearing up and doing what I can to get ready for the next season. So getting my car ready, kind of putting trying to get a rooftop tent to put on it. I want to start going around and traveling more and documenting it more and getting my YouTube channel kind of up and going again. And then start fishing these tournaments as well. So I've just been kind of setting up and gearing up for that in 2023. But yeah, that's kind of what I've got going on right now. And then hopefully in the future, got a couple little series that I've got in mind for my YouTube channel that I'll start plugging when I start dropping more videos. But other than that, that's about it. And then John, quick question for you, not to derail anything, but Mike, I know like a month or two ago, right? Did you work with that guy who saved that kid who was drowning in the lake?
Yeah, I got him into a new Moken kayak, so he had something. He actually got offered like 5 kayaks from 5 manufacturers. So
yeah, I was really glad that you did that and you jumped on it quickly because I saw that other network was trying to get some stuff done quickly, and but you were Johnny on the spot, so kudos, Mikey.
Yeah, no, that guy.
Yeah, just want to say.
He got a new kayak. He loves. He's got a Moken 10. He loves it. He says he picks it all the time. He just got some ducks out of it the other day. Actually, he's got a few kayaks now. Actually, but he deserves it, man. The guy's got a bigger. And he has a storage room for kayaks, obviously. But he's doing pretty well.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I saw that and I was really proud to be somewhat not even really affiliated with it, but just to see that you were, part of the team and one of my teammates doing that, reached out and helped with them.
And you're all part of. None of that stuff happens without everybody involved. It's Feelfree is a big machine, and we're all gears. And none of us are bigger gears than the other. We all just work together. If one of the gears gets taken out, we're all done. So, you definitely have something to do with it too, whether you know it or not.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mike.
Definitely, Kyle.
What am I looking for in 2023? Well, California has been on the biggest drought streak that we have had in like the last 50 years. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting some rain next year so we get some water and our lakes get filled up and I don't have to drive 4 hours to go to a tournament.
Well, bro, I think Cody, Jerry, and myself can speak on behalf of you. We've been getting your rain.
Man, send it this way. All of our lakes already, and we're not even into, winter yet, and we're already all minimum pool already. Wow. So everything around us except for one lake, and that sucker's full and almost coming over the top, and they're letting it out now. So, but all the lakes that we normally have our tournaments on around here, we haven't had since before the pandemic. They stopped them when the pandemic started. They stopped them, and we haven't had them start back up at all just because there's not enough water. So everything that we've been having to do, we're driving 3 to 4 hours north to go fish up in Sacramento and the Delta and Lake Shasta and Clear Lake and stuff like that. And it's way too much for a one-day tournament for me down here in, smack dab in the central California. It's just, we need it bad. We need it real bad. So I think that the one thing that, like I said, I'm looking forward to hopefully for 2023 is just some rain, man, and better health, I guess.
Amen, brother. Cody.
I'm looking forward to I got a couple things in the works. One, just finished up a real nice blog on waterfowl hunting from your Feelfree. I do all mine from my Moken, and Bobby will be putting out that blog here soon. I just got to send it over to him. As far as that, doing some traveling. Just finished up my first year in my new job, so finally, like in the swing of things, can carve out more time to go fishing. Last year, it kind of got cut short. I didn't have any like leave built up and stuff
Right.
like that, so I kind of didn't get to do much last year. But hopefully, this coming summer and especially springtime, I'm getting ready to do some waterfowl. Just came in Maryland and PA, so I'll be having some good stuff with that. And yeah, that's about it.
Outstanding. All right, Big Jerry.
Well, as you can see, we're back in the house, so that's over with.
Amen.
And that's been a blessing. And so hopefully in 2023, I can make more road trips. We don't have this to mess with. And I'm looking at maybe doing more Hobie stuff next year. Their tournaments, the way they're ran, the way they're done. But that's just my opinion right now. I mean, that's subject to change with how things work out with KBF. I've fished KBF since I started this, and I don't have a problem with Chad. It's just some of the, the way some of the things have been going recently. I might be looking at something different. But and supposedly there's a new system going to be implemented into BASS. So, and I've not fished one of their events yet. So, I was talking to Jody at our event there in Jackson County, and he was talking about they were supposed to get a new director or something, and he asked if Jody would come back because Jody was not happy with BASS either.
Well, I think all of us in West Virginia had a sour taste in our mouth after what they did at the Summersville event, trying to run us off the lake.
Right.
Right.
And Jody told him he's got a lot of butt kissing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, just getting back out on the water.
Outstanding. Mikey, buddy, tell us about what you got planned for 2023?
Oh man, that's so much. So 2023 is going to be a pretty big, life-changing year for me, and for everything we're working on. So, one second. Okay, sorry. I'm out in the other room. So we have a lot of really cool guests for the show. That's first and foremost I'm really excited about. We're filming with the Girls on the Voice tomorrow, actually in the morning. I'm getting ready while we're on this call here. And it's going to be incredible. I'm so excited. The biggest I'm excited about is there's a lot of growth in the sport happening right now. A lot of things behind the scenes that are coming to light next year and during the wintertime, during the off season. I think our sport's going to be in a lot bigger of a spotlight next year than normal, which I think is really exciting for everybody.
Right.
Someone once told me that a rising tide raises all shit, so it's always good to rise the tide. And there's been some cool stuff happening. I will say this. I don't know if I'll just say this, but I'm going to say it just because it'll be fun to announce it, I guess. I find out in the next week or two for the final answer, but next year we are set up. We're in the final stage of approval right now, where we're going to be the first kayak fishing show on the Discovery Channel.
Beautiful.
So
Nice.
knock on.
Congrats.
I'll find out in the next week or so the final approval, but we've already passed everything so far. But if that happens, that's going to be a huge platform for us where we can share what we do in our sport and our amazing guests and all the cool things we get to do with the show. We get to share it with an audience that normally wouldn't be on an outdoor channel or something where we are now. So that's super exciting.
Well,
but
hey,
yeah,
so Mikey, go ahead and mark your calendar for Tuesday, November 1st. Matter of fact, all of you guys, mark your calendar for Tuesday, November 1st at 8 p.m. Mike McKinstry will announce what he found out about that thing that's going to happen in about 2 weeks. Will it happen or will it not?
What's the date? November 1st?
November 1st. It's the first Tuesday of November is when we do this show.
All right. Oh wait, it'll probably be announced before then. If I hear about it, I won't be able to contain it because
Oh,
I've held that back for about 10 months already. And
That's
the first
cool.
time
That's cool, but we'll definitely let our network of folks get some information on your big announcements. So.
Absolutely.
And if you're talking about it, we already know you're going to do it. So, kudos, Big Daddy.
There's a lot going on, so we'll see.
All right, guys. Hey, 42 minutes into the show. God bless you guys. Thanks for coming in. Let's sign off here.
All right. See you,
All
folks.
right, guys. So you got to watch Mike McKinstry, Kyle Matlock, Jason West, Cody Bowers, and Jerry Spradling of the Feelfree fishing team from all over the nation and all parts of the world. We all are all about kayak fishing. We love our brand, the Feelfree fishing brand, and we hope that you will take a few minutes, check out their pages, go look for their YouTubes, their Instagrams, show a like, follow, share, and watch what they're into. They just gave you little tidbits about what they got planned, and maybe you can learn a tip, trick, or something from what they do. Anyway, stay safe, be blessed. The Feelfree fishing team is out.